Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Fenyo. This is the Early Reading Podcast, and let's get this podcast out of the way because I have a lot of work to do for tomorrow's fall preview. We have a huge pay per view this Saturday, so if you want to listen to me talking in depth about every single fight, um, tune in tomorrow, live stream or on your favorite podcast platforms after that. So today we're not going to talk a lot about the upcoming pay-per-view, but we'll be talking about what happened and a few key fight announcements. So the UFC went to Baku, Azerbaijan, to make an ad for the country, as it's usually the case when the UFC goes overseas. It was very Atlant this time, but let's talk about the fights in itself. Um, so we have Jamal Hill, former champion, against former title challenger Khalil Rountree Jr. A lot of us were like super sure that no way this is going to be a boring fight, and there actually was a way. Um, so both guys southpaws here. They had like a slow but interesting first round. But then on round two, Khalil, both guys were landing like a lot of leg kicks. Actually, watching live, I felt like Hill was getting like the better of the leg kicks. Not that he was landing the better leg kicks, but he was landing like a lot more, and he was like catching Khalil like super planted. So I felt like, oh, Khalil might get damaged with leg kicks early on, but second round, Khalil just cooks the lead right leg of Jamal Hill with a leg kick. And from then on, the fight just got like very uninteresting. Roundtree was just like not giving a lot of counter opportunities for Hill. It looks like all he wanted to do was like to use his lead hand, like to bait Khalil into an entry and then look for a pull counter, and that was not going on at all. He didn't seem to have like a like a plan B here. Roundtree was like just content to land a few leg kicks per round and then just burst into like big overhands or that kind of stuff here and there. He dropped Jamal Hill like 4 times, I think. So this might be the most boring like fight with 4 knockdowns that you ever seen. Um, and he looked like he was in decent shape. I know his leg was cooked, but he should have taken more risks, especially because he was super down. I don't know. I I didn't listen to the corners live because I was like pretty bored with the fight, and I was like just talking with my people on the live stream. But apparently, like they told him that it was close before the fifth, and that's not like the sign that you wanted him to give because he was going to try to just win the round and not win like get a finish. Khalil did not look great here. I feel like he came in with the right idea. He looked like, as I said, like he had a big advantage in when it comes to mechanics and technique. Khalil, I feel like Jamal was like the has a better feel for fighting. It's better in transitions and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, Hill got completely killed with the leg kicks, and when he was like waiting way too much, like Khalil was entering range with a burst, and those were not looking great. Like Khalil's overhand was not looking great here. Very wide. I know it hurt Hill a few times, but it's not a great punch to be honest. Khalil was not willing to go for the finish. He didn't take advantage of the leg kicks as much. I didn't like the performance from either guy, especially Hill. Very disappointing. And now everyone is piling on Jamal for being like the worst champion of all time. Not sure I agree with that, but it was a pretty bad performance to be quite honest. So he'll find himself in a losing streak now. And Khalil, his stock is as high as ever. Very nice custom shorts, by the way. Um, but yeah, I didn't think much of the main event. I think if you want to get a good fight out of Khalil, like just put him against Jiri. Maybe the winner of that can fight for the title. Um, Jiri is probably going to get leg kick to pieces, but when you leg kick to pieces Jiri, he just gets more aggressive. So that's a very interesting fight, right? and he's going to make Khalil uncomfortable. That was like the way that he had to win this fight, that he was not willing to do so. So yeah, good for Khalil. I'm guessing I'm doing the thumbnail of this one like, oh, is boring Khalil a problem for the light heavyweight division? Because I have no other ideas on how to clickbait to get like 100 views on YouTube for these ones. Co-main event, Rafael Fiziev fought my countryman Ignacio Bahamondes. As a Fiziev fan, I was kind of scared for this one. It seems like I shouldn't have. I mean, I was like more scared that he was not going like to look like himself anymore. He came after an injury. He looked pretty decent against Gagey, but then took like this quick turnaround against Ignacio here. Ignacio obviously very tall, tied for the tallest fighter in the division right now, with Nolan, because we don't have like Roosevelt Roberts, we don't have Joel Alvarez, and we don't have Jalen Turner in the division anymore. All of those guys build 6'3", so yeah, I mean, very big difference in height and reach here, but I always felt like Fiziev the superior striker of the two, but I was a bit concerned if maybe like the reach and the volume from Bahamondes was going to be concerning for Fiziev, but not at all. Fiziev had a field day with him, to be honest, like just reading the single shots, just one step ahead when it came to defense. Didn't get like a lot of offense. I mean, I think Fiziev won like all 3 rounds. 2 was the closest, I feel, but he still ended like some decent shots from top position in the ground pound at the end of the round that made me side with him. 1 and 3 were like super clear for Fiziev, to be honest. Fiziev just way better as a striker, like superior footwork, the reactions, he was defending everything, he was seeing everything. When he was entering range, he was taking like proactive measures to evade the strikes. He was adapting inside the pocket, he was landing to the body a lot, he was landing kicks at range. Like great performance, like not like a super exciting one. It was exciting for me because I was very excited to see Fiziev like looking good again. But it was a very solid performance, and now Bahamondes like back to the drawing board, and like I feel like Bahamondes is very good, but I'm not sure the ranking is like I don't want to use the word deserved, but there are like a lot of people that could be in that position. It's just like he got like that promotional push, and he got like the fight against Jalen Turner, who had a foot on the had a foot outside the door already when they fought, it seems, man. So that win propelled him to the top 15. For I would say it's time for Bahamondes to defend his spot in the top 15 against someone. Like there are a lot of guys like knocking there. Like I know, for example, my boy Ribovics, he's coming off a loss, but hey, maybe that's a very good fight to make. Hakparas, who beat Ribovics, maybe that's a fight to make. So Hoover is getting a fight if he wins the next one. Orolbai, who we'll be talking about next. It's also someone that it's like on the rise in the lightweight division. Like lightweight is like has quite a few like not super young fighters, maybe like Bahamondes, but guys that are like new faces to the division, relatively new faces with good wins on good streaks. And we'll be talking about someone that probably deserves a top 15 fight next, right? We'll be talking about that very soon. But yeah, I mean, great for Fiziev. Happy for him. I'm not very sure. I don't feel like his ceiling is super high. I mean, not higher than he already is. He's like a legit like top 5-ish fighter at lightweight. I don't think he's going to get like a lot further than that. But that obviously means that he's elite. It's same for Bahamondes. I'm saying like, oh, maybe he's not like top 15. Maybe he's more around the top 20, top 25 part of the rankings. But that still means you're a very good fighter. It's just that Fiziev was like superior by a decent margin in this fight. We have Curtis Blades fight against Rizvan Kuniev. Blades kind of checked out during this one. I think I was having lunch and I had a great lunch. Blades trying to impose the wrestling, fighting in transitions, having a good jab, but then Kuniev got to look like very decent on that second round, stuffing the takedowns, defending against the fence, defending in open space, and then being like the superior striker, the more loose striker. But Blades like looks stiff, but he was defending well most of the time. And then on that third round, it came to like Blades. I feel had the output, and it could have gone either way. But I'm glad Blades got the win here, especially because he was putting his ranking on the line against a newcomer. And the fight got rescheduled even though it was like canceled last time out, so you can tell that the UFC really wanted Kuniev to get the place here. So I'm always glad when their plans don't pan out. Miktivek Orolbai welcomed Tofik Musayev to the UFC. Musayev, who has been fighting all over the world, very very experienced, and obviously an Azerbaijani. So Orolbai, Musayev showed up with like very good takedown defense on the opening sequence, but then Orolbai was able to take it to the ground, and it was over from there. Just complete domination, very heavy on the position, and got like a nasty Kimura at the end. So good for Orolbai. This was a catchweight. I'm not sure if Orolbai has his like weight issues under control. He's a problem for the lightweights. And talking about problems for the lightweight division, man, Nassim Sadikov and Nicolas Mora had a fantastic fight, man. It was so fucking good. Just a striker's deal like this one. Both guys very aggressive, just willing to stay in the pocket. Combinations, going to the body a lot, which you guys all know I love. Sadikov was mixing in some clinches with elbows and knees. Mota was going to the body, trying to catch Sadikov with head kicks here and there. Mota was like winning the pocket exchanges here and there, and then he kind of like rocked Sadikov, followed him to the cage, started like unloading, mixing in a few like shots to the body. Sadikov dropped for a little moment, but then Sadikov recovers. Mota is tired. Sadikov like obviously is hurt, is tired too, but he looked like the fresher guy. Starts putting like beautiful combinations together, and then just catches him with a right hook against the fence in the final moments of the fight, halfway through the second round, I think. Man, just a great fight. Just go and watch Sadikov versus Nicolas Mota. It was a great fight. Mota looked very good too. But yeah, give Sadikov a ticket to the top 15, man. Please let him fight someone with a number, because this guy is so good. He's so good that he's so fun to watch. And he has the grappling too, man. Like we saw against like Terrence McKinney, he saw some sketchy positions here and there, but yeah, McKinney first round, he's kind of a monster physically, especially. He has the wrestling skills. Sadikov was able to ride it out and just finish him on the second round. So yeah, I mean, love Sadikov, man, and Mota is great, and he's dangerous for a lot of the guys in the division too. Mohamed Naimov fought Bogdan Grad in his UFC debut. This fight kind of sucked, man. It was like it's the fight that it's very annoying to me, because it's like both guys looking very aimless on the feet and like just throwing like big kicks and big punches with little to no setup, and all they want is to find like a good entry inside a clinch or to a takedown, and neither guy was like actually getting was very successful inside the clinch, and no one was getting like takedowns. So it was a rough watch, man. Naimov wins, I guess. Didn't really care for that one. So Kyung Ko fought Oban Elliot, and Ko, I didn't think much out of him for his Contender Series fight, and Oban Elliot, I thought he looked very good in his last two. So to my surprise, Ko took him to school. Like, Elliot just was like, I don't know what the deal with Elliot was here, man. Usually like very good moving on the outside. Here he was like super easy to pressure. He was like just like accepting the pressure by Ko. And then when he was trying to clinch with him, I've been telling you guys, don't clinch with the Koreans. Like, obviously if you're a good clincher, like you should do it, but you'd be surprised. Like, Ko is like labeled as a striker. Even his nickname is like the Korean Mike Tyson. But going inside the clinch was manhandling Elliot, man. He had those Koreans had that judo in the back pocket at all times, man. By the way, like I know judo is not Korean. They just have like very strong judo culture over there, especially when it comes to MMA. Um, so yeah, Cole looking fantastic from top position. Elliot was trying some good escapes, and Cole was looking like very heavy, just like flattening the shoulders, flowing with Elliot when Elliot was able to create movement, taking the back a few times. Like, hey man, Seokhyun Ko, if he's going to look like this, like I'm all for it, man. And for Elliot, I don't know, man. I don't want to make excuses for him. Like I didn't like Elliot initially, and I was like kind of forced by his performance to accept like, okay, this guy is actually kind of good, and so I'm not making excuses for him, but I don't think that was like Owen Elliot at his best. I don't know if he was dealing with something personal, of an injury or whatever, but I hope he gets to look back, gets to look good again. That's what I wanted to say, because this was not it, man. Not to take the shine away from Cole, because I think Cole looked very good. He proved me wrong for what I thought about him in Contender Series. He looked very good here. But at the same time, I think it's possible for Cole to look very good and for Elliot to not look good, and I think that was the case here. Young Park, the Iron Turtle, fought Ismail Nardiev. Nardiev, as always, like looking very good on that first round. But always the question was like, oh, it's him going to be able to keep the pace, because Park was like, you know, the Iron Turtle, he's going to keep that jab on your face. He's going to be aggressive, and he's going to be durable. He's going to be aware defensively, even though you'll be able to hit him, but to hurt him is another tale. And yeah, Nardiev was starting that end of the first round. Nardiev already looking kind of sketchy, and I was like, okay, this might be over. And then second round, what was the fall? Oh, it was an illegal knee. So Nardiev like hits a finishing sequence on Young Park. Like he hits him with an illegal knee, follows up with ground pound, and the fight stopped. But the fight was stopped because of a foul, because Park had one knee down, so it was an illegal knee to a down opponent. Nardiev thought he won the fight. He was celebrating. He was informed that the fight was not over. Surprisingly, the fight was not over. Like I thought, like, okay, this is done. This is going to be like either a contest or a DQ. Wasn't the case. Park wanted to continue. So after like 4 or 5 minutes, I think Park was like back in the fight, which is like crazy because he was like so clearly concussed on that sequence. Like he was finished, right? That was a TKO. In a world where that's a legal knee, that's a TKO. But you know, Nardiev like was already tired, had a huge adrenaline dump, and Park just went to work, man. Park just went to work. So Park wins. By the way, Nardiev gets 2 points taken away, which is like fair, I feel. Like if the fight is going to continue, which I don't agree it should have, but if it is going to continue, like yeah, take away 2 points, because like Park was probably compromised going back into the fight. But compromised or not, Young Park did what he does. Just went to work with the jab, with the grappling, and won like dominant second and third round. So yeah, Nardiev back to the drawing board. I don't know what's to do with the cardio, man. Like you move up to middleweight, you're not a huge middleweight. Cardio should be one of your assets. When Nardiev has a gas tank, he's like very cool, but if he cannot keep it up, like not a lot of people in the division can do what Young Park did here, but it's still like it's not very promising moving forwards. Daria Seleshniakova fought Melissa Mullins. This was like entertaining for a round. Like Seleshniakova came out like very aggressive, and then Mullins started like finding some counters, and then rounds 2 and 3 are like a blur, man. Like I don't remember much about this. Mullins just not enough volume. That's I remember thinking that. Seleshniakova look okay, I guess. Before that, Claudia Sigula fought Irina Alexieva, Russian Ronda. And Alexieva did not look like good, man. Sigula just came with a few ideas to set up the right hand, and he was finding the shin of Alexieva, especially in that first round. Like she kind of hurt him, like hurt her like twice, I think. And then rounds 2 and 3 also like didn't mind those. Here comes the other good fight of the night because Takir Ulanbekov and Asad Maxum had a great fight. Maxum like so athletic, so aggressive, and Ulanbekov looked on the field like the best he has ever looked, man. Like he looked so comfortable looking for counters, especially like that counter right hand was landing all night, man. And he was like attacking in transitions, both guys trying to wrestle. Maxum with some big slams and takedowns. Ulanbekov defending well, trying to look for takedowns of his own, but Maxum with insane takedown defense in this fight. But at the end of the day, like Ulanbekov had like a higher output on the feet and was landing like nice counters, and that got him the victory, I think. But it was a very good fight, man. Excited for this new like improved Ulanbekov because his striking looked very solid. More boxing focus than in the past. Ulanbekov, my read was that he was more of those like geeky wrestlers that come from Dagestan, but here he looked like very, very sharp with the hands. Maxum, Maxum is going to be like in super entertaining fights all the time. You just know, right? And the opener was Mohamed Usman versus Hamdi Abdul Wahab. Hamdi was doing some work on round 1, especially with leg kicks and his own jab, but then Usman started finding the jab. Hamdi was not able to push forwards anymore, and Usman like took over the fight with volume. I think it was not great, to be quite honest. You gotta remember, Hamdi is just like 5 fights into his career, so maybe it's like being in the UFC already. It is not the best thing for his career. I mean, he's not young, and he was like an international wrestler, right? But still. And Usman is shaky and kind of small for heavyweight. Like it's crazy to say that he's kind of small because like he's so jacked. And he's kind of huge, but his frame is not that big. Like you see all the mass that he's carrying around, and he's only like 240. Hamdi was like noticeably like bigger than him. But yeah, I mean, I don't think like that Usman is going to be like a player or anything in this division. But this was a good win, especially he had to show some like mental fortitude, which I think has been a weak point in the past for Mohamed Usman. So good for him, man. Let's get into some fight announcements, and we'll get out of here. Okay, so Nasruddin Immabo is fighting Caio Borralho. This is going on at UFC Paris. Main event, obviously. Great fight. Not sure if Caio deserves it. I mean, he had that win against Cannonier. Immabo like does have that win over Adesanya, right? But I mean, I like it, man. I like it. Caio goes into enemy territory. Immabo with his confidence over the roof. So it's going to be a good fight, I think. It's going to be a good fight. Like Caio, the fighting nerds, they come prepared into battle. Immabo has been improving steadily since he came to the UFC, so it's a very good fight. And obviously, number 1 contender, it will emerge from this fight. Sumo Dergi is fighting El Gallo Negro, Kevin Borjas. Great fight, man. Exciting for my boy Borjas, who finally got that like win in the UFC after beating a lazy boy. Sumo Dergi it's an interesting fight. It's an interesting fight. Like Borjas, I feel like like as a pocket boxer on the inside, he's probably better. No, but Sumo Dergi is dangerous, man. And Sumo Dergi has been improving as a grappler too. We might see a bit of that. But exciting fight. Fight between my boys. Andrew Philly has been my boy forever, but now I'm riding the zero train like hard. No, but this one is very interesting because Philly is big. He's a big featherweight and he's a very good wrestler. But like Zero, he does his stuff like against wrestlers. We'll see if he can defend against Philly. I feel like Philly wrestles a lot more the older he gets. But Philly still has like a very good jab. Rodriguez is a very good striker on his own. I mean, he might lack pop here and there, but he's like crafty, he's accurate, he can hurt people. We know that Philly doesn't have the shin that he used to anymore. But Philly is like very experienced. He can match Zero during the transitions that he likes so much. It's not likely that Zero is going to find like easy takedowns against Philly or anything like that. interesting to see them inside the clinch too, because Zero is very good inside the clinch, but you know, he's like quite smaller than Philly. It's a very compelling matchup, actually. I like it. I like it. Jared Gordon is fighting Rafa Garcia, Noche UFC in San Antonio. I was expecting Gordon to get someone higher up. He's like kind of like fighting sideways, maybe a bit like they're kind of the same pace, but like Gordon has been having like very good results as of late, especially considering that he got robbed. He got robbed, kind of. I guess. Hackstalum, Hack Perez in their fight. And Garcia has been looking very solid, to be honest. So it's but I feel like Gordon probably a bad fight for Garcia. Like he has very good takedown defense. He's a very solid grappler. And Garcia like has some boxing chops, but I gotta think that Gordon is the superior boxer at this stage. But it's still a decent fight. Muslim Sadikov is getting fed to the wolves. He's fighting Carlos Leal. You know, Leal is like, it's not the most polished. He doesn't have a lot of process, but he hits very hard. He has violent tools. And he pushes a pace that old people hate. So I think this is a bad fight for the King of Kung Fu. But yeah, I mean, Leal fans, you can enjoy this one, I guess. What else do we have? I like this one. I mean, like, not probably going to be a great fight, but I like the matchmaking here. Sergey Pavlovich is fighting Waldo Cortez Acosta. This is going on at UFC Shanghai on August. Very interesting because, like, if Pavlovich doesn't get the early knockout, like, I feel like Waldo is going to jab him. And we saw Pavlovich, like, look, like, very ineffective when he was, like, getting kept at range by Volkov. Obviously, Volkov is like enormous and long, and Waldo is going to be like at size parity with Pavlovich. But you know, a jab can make wonders. But hey, if Pavlovich can counter, we might see. I mean, Waldo has shown a tremendous chin so far, but Pavlovich is a hitter like few others on the heavyweight division. So it's a very good fight. It's a very well matched fight, I feel. Said Nurmagomedov is going to welcome Bryce Mitchell to the bantamweight division. This is going on at UFC Abu Dhabi on July. Interesting to see because Mitchell, like, he has been saying that he's not a huge featherweight. He has never been like super muscled, but he has like a big frame for bantamweight, so he's going to be very big. And if he's going to be like big and strong at bantamweight, that could get very interesting. Said has been taken down in the past by not super decorated wrestlers, right? But he's a good grappler and he has that ninja choke and he's going to be the superior striker by a decent margin here. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens here. And obviously the UFC finally managed to make me root for Said Nurmagomedov, which is crazy, right? Movsar Iblov is welcoming Aaron Pico to the UFC for whatever reason, even though Iblov should be the number one contender. This is going on at UFC Abu Dhabi 2. Crazy fight, man. And especially for Iblov to take this fight is like, wow, because like, if there's a single guy that's not in the UFC right now that is a bad matchup for Iblov, is probably Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico, for those of you that don't know, he has been fighting on Bellator and PFL, I think it was last seen. But the thing with Pico is that he was a very, very high level wrestler in college in the US. And he has been training boxing since he was a child. So, and then he has the money to have like he has the resources to have the like camps focus around him. So he's like this uber prospect that got thrown to high level opposition too soon in his career, so the hype died down a little bit, but he's still young. He has been knocked out quite a few times though, but Iblov, you know, not a knockout puncher, even though he has like respectable power. He has hurt quite a few of his UFC opponents on the feet though. But yeah, I mean, but Iblov, the thing about this fight is that Iblov, if he doesn't get takedown silk, Iblov is an actually decent striker. He has a very good jab. He has powerful kicks. He has decent footwork, and if he starts like bordering Pico with the jab, he might get into some transitions and stuff. Uh, but still, it's a scary fight for someone like Iblov to take, just because Pico has like huge power and has the wrestling credentials to keep it on the feet. You would imagine, but it's a very good fight, man. It's a very good fight. I think a lot of people have like a lot against Iblov because of his personal life, about him like having some like questionable moral decisions about his life. I'm not going to enter if that's like related to like cultural reasons or not. I will say that as an athlete, I think Ibloyev deserves the title shot right now. So it's crazy that he's taking this fight against like a completely unranked opponent here, who is also a bad matchup. So he's getting set up by the UFC. So it's crazy, man. But on the other hand, like this is a great fucking fight, man. It's so good. What else do we have? Miles Jones is fighting Jan Matsumoto. So obviously Matsumoto, the hype has to like you gotta pump the brakes a little bit after losing to Rob Font, even though it was a close fight. So they're not pumping the brakes like full stop. So they're giving him like a decent name in Miles Jones to see where he stands in this bantamweight division. Should be a good fight, man. And but I feel like Jones is like more of a finished product, so more of playing more of a role keeper role at this point. We saw in his fight against a Jungle Boy that he's still he's still a very good fighter because he's just well rounded and dangerous and athletic. So it's a big test for Jan Matsumoto here. Excited about it, especially because you would be expecting Matsumoto to be getting better at this stage of his career. Edson Barbosa, I think he's back to 155. I'm guessing because I don't know, man. Like Drakkar close, kind of thick. He's a thick boy for 155, so I'm not seeing him at 145. But I don't know. But these guys are fighting. This is going on at UFC 319 on August. Interesting fight because close, like he's like he can kick. He comes from the MMA lab, and he's that kind of old school MMA lab style, like the Rick Story kind of style. Um, so he can rough guys inside the clinch. And Barbosa, like he can get pressured, but he still has like decent footwork, and he still like can fight on the outside if your pressure is not a point. So it will be an interesting like clash of styles here. Excited about it. Uh, Talking about that, King Green is fighting Carlos Diego Ferreira. This one is great. This one is great. King Green has been getting knocked out like kind of brutally lately. Carlos, not so much, but the thing is that Carlos has been like using his wrestling quite a lot and and also fighting like being the good defensive wrestler here. But I think like roles are kind of reversed here. I feel like Carlos is going to try to look for takedowns, and King Green is very good as a defensive wrestler. The striking is also very interesting. Like Carlos Diego Ferreira is like doesn't have the prettiest mechanics, but he has power and he's crafty, man. He's crafty, and he might find the shin of King Green, who like as much as I love Green, like he relies still a lot on his reflexes, his reactions, and he's getting older and he's getting more fragile. So, but I don't know. It's a great fight. I like this. This is like very good old man versus old man matchmaking. I like it. We have Francis Marshall against Austin Bashi. This one is interesting because like Marshall is like very well rounded. He's dangerous on the feet. He's a very good grappler. So against Bashi, who is like a grappler by trade, but you would be expecting him to be getting better as a striker from camp to camp at this stage of his career. Like it's a very stiff test. I feel like Marshall is not like the kind of like wrestler killer that C-Rod is. Uh, but at the same time, he's like a more physical presence at 145, I think, and he will like wrestle himself, and he throws heat on the feet. So it's a dangerous fight for the prospect in Bashi here. We have Mateusz Rambetsky fighting Chris Duncan. Rambetsky, who was like put very high. He was like being set up to go into the rankings, I feel, in his fight against Carlos Diego Ferreira. And he got stopped there, but then he bounced back in that like fantastic fight against Oral By, who we talked about earlier in this episode. And he's fighting Duncan, who has been putting the wins together, man. Especially after the guillotines and that kind of stuff. And Duncan is like a workhorse, you know. Rambetsky is more of a wrecking ball, so we'll see if Duncan can like survive early and take over later. Both guys very well rounded. Duncan more of a jiu-jitsu guy, Rambetsky more of like a wrestler and top position guy. So very cool fight. Actually, a very cool fight. And finally, we have a banger. Someone makes sound the banger alert. Because we have Danny Silva against Kevin Vallejos. This is going on August on an Apex, of course, because the UFC don't know what they're doing. They're wasting this fantastic fight on an Apex night. But man, this one is so good. Danny Silva is like, I mean, I'm guessing like Vallejos is one of like the highest profile prospects right now at featherweight, and I'm guessing in the sport, especially because he's drawing so many parallels to Topuria, right? And also because he had that very exciting fight against Jan Silva, who is like right in the top 5, it seems like, right now in the featherweight division. And so that loss aged very well because they had a competitive fight. But don't sleep on Danny Silva, like super well rounded, big for the division. Vallejos is not huge, so we'll see about that. But I'm very excited about this one, man. I'm very excited. I think this is a very good fight. It's going to be a very exciting, good fight. But also, like, the winner of this one is going to look for big things in this division. And that's it, man. I'm not going to get into the podcast. If you want to know all about the podcast, I'm talking about it tomorrow. The fall preview is coming at you live on Tuesday. I won't say the time because I don't know how the Chile time translates into other time zones. But I'll be announcing that on Twitter, here on YouTube, with anticipation, hopefully. So look forward to that. And that's it for the pod. Remember, I'll be like having videos on the Fight Side Presents channel and on the Feño TFS channel. So subscribe to both channels. Look forward to that. And also remember that if you want to support me to keep making this content, which I'm doing a lot of, you can head over to Patreon. For a small amount of money, you can get access to a big library of exclusive content. And I'm posting weekly on Patreon too. Just last week, I just had a video about Mark Hunt against Stefan Struve, the UFC fight with the biggest height discrepancy, in which the shorter fight won. So if you want to see like tactics to fight a shorter opponent, a taller opponent, look for that on the Patreon. It's a video with graphics, with voiceover, well produced. So look out for that. I'll be launching the new store. We're leaving Teespring, so if you want to get your Body Punching Crew t-shirt and all of that, I'll be announcing that tomorrow during the podcast. Watch out for that too. And that's it, guys. Thank you as always for listening, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the full preview. I'm Feño and I'm signing out.